Hey, what's up guys? Austin here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the DK7 Drum Microphone Kit from Earthworks Audio. So this is their top-of-the-line microphone kit that's specifically designed for recording drums. It includes 7 mics in total, and at a price point of $29.99, it's definitely aimed more towards the professional/prosumer market, more than beginners or hobbyists. But there's some interesting things about these mics that make them unique, so let's take a closer look at them, and we'll see what they're all about. The first thing you notice when you get these is that the hard shell case they come in is really nice. It feels really solid, really protective. It's got a cool little badge on it that looks nice, and it has these strong clasps that lock into place to ensure that the case doesn't open accidentally when transporting it. It's a heavy-duty case, and I like that they include that as an accessory. Inside the case, we get a nice little user guide and the mics themselves. This kit includes 2 SR25s for the overheads, 1 SR20 LS for the kick drum, and 4 of the DM20 mics, which are designed for close miking the toms and snare. The SR25s and the SR20 come with a simple mount, which should work on any standard mic stand, and the DM20s all come with the RM1 rim mounts for mounting onto the rims of the toms and snare. Each mic also comes with its own windscreen in case you should ever need those. One thing I noticed when I first pulled these out of the case is that the build quality on them feels really top-notch. Most of the microphone is solid metal, there's no flimsy plastic anywhere. They have a nice weight to them, and you can just kind of feel that they're constructed really well. The gooseneck is really stiff, really rigid, and wherever you position it, it doesn't move at all. The rim mount is also metal. It's got a coating on it to make sure it doesn't scratch the rim of the drum. And the holder for the mic at the bottom is like a really dense rubber, and it's fit really nice and tight to the mic so it doesn't scoot around very easily. So in terms of build quality, it's pretty impressive. It really does feel like a premium set of microphones. I found the rim mounts to be pretty easy to work with, and once you get them in place, they're pretty solid and they don't move on you. An interesting little detail about the rim guide is that it has a couple grooves in it, which allows the mount to grip the rim in a few different positions, which changes the angle of the mic when it's mounted. So that's a cool little design detail they threw in there. But overall, these mounts are solid, they're quick to set in place, and they don't move once you lock them in, which is most important. So one thing I really like about these mics is the way that they look from the drumming position. Since the bulk of the microphone is down below the gooseneck on the outside of the drum, all you really see from the drumming position are these sleek little mic capsules, which to me is really aesthetic. It's a very minimal, very clean look, and they don't really grab your attention or feel like they're getting in the way at all, like with some other traditional mics. You kind of just forget that they're there after a while, and they look pretty sick. Now, one interesting thing to note about these mics is that they're all condensers. Traditional drum mic kits usually use dynamic mics for the close miking, but all of the Earthworks mics are condensers, which means that you're going to need phantom power for every microphone. Another thing to note is that the input level on these mics can be a little bit too hot for some preamps. On my 428 pre, I had no issues with it, but on my Liquid Sapphire and the Octa pre, the levels were a little high, so I had to activate the pads on those channels. This shouldn't be an issue if you have nice preamps, but Earthworks does make a level pad that you can insert into the signal chain to decrease the input level to your preamp, which they sell separately if you should need that, but that's something you should be aware of. One thing that's interesting about these mics is that they utilize a really small diaphragm, which they say reduces the diaphragm's settling time, and that's supposed to help with preserving the detail of the attack and the low-level signals to create more clarity in the sound. They can handle pretty high SPLs. The SR25s can handle up to 145 dB, while the DM20s can handle up to 150. So none of these mics should really distort, even if you're playing pretty loud. They also claim these mics to have a near-perfect polar response, which means that the mic picks up the same frequencies on the sides as it does at the front, which is supposed to help with phasing issues when recording. They also claim these mics to have 32 dBs of rear rejection, which is nearly double that of other microphones. And again, this is supposed to help with phasing issues, and it minimizes the pickup of unwanted sounds at the rear of the microphones. So now let's put these to the test and do some sound demos. I'm running the overheads, kick, and snare through the 428 preamp, and all of the toms are running through the Liquid Sapphire and the Octapre. So let's hear how they sound, and then I'll leave you with my ending thoughts. So if I had to describe these mics with one word, I think it would have to be clarity. The overheads are really transparent, they're really smooth, they're a little bright but not harsh, and I'm really impressed with how well they pick up the toms and the snare. You could definitely get away with just doing the two overheads and the kick if you're going for that open, natural kind of sound. The close mics are really clear, much clearer than traditional dynamic mics. You don't have to EQ them as much to get rid of the mud, and they just sit in the mix really nice. I don't have too much bad to say. The only thing I can think of is the input level might be a little bit too high for some preamps, but if you have pads on your pre's, shouldn't really be an issue. So overall, I like the mics. Unfortunately, I have to send them back, but if I ever decide to invest in a nice set of mics down the road, these will definitely be at the top of my list. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.